Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another, I'm not going to say it, 3D Hangout. Welcome to the pre-show. We're going to start the show in 5 minutes. We're hanging out here in the chat room with Kirby, talking about conchas. Did anybody bring donuts?
I really wish we did have one now.
Yeah.
I really want one now.
Yeah.
Or a donut.
Yeah. You can find them at most like Spanish, Hispanic, Latino bakeries.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have conchas.
Yeah, it's like a donut with no hole, but the powdered sugar is on top.
Yeah, and they design it so it looks like a seashell. Concha means a seashell. I know Spanish. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the chat room.
Hello,
I need to do things here. I forgot. Go live.
I'll take 2.
Eating one is
I
hard
know. I'll take 2 because I'll save the other one for later.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to the chat room. We're getting started here in just 4 minutes. I'm gonna let the stream populate to all the sites. That is good. You want to double check? Yeah, you got it. How's our audio? Can you guys hear us okay?
Hello,
I can't
hello.
hear you. What's going on? Walensky, hello. Skylar's in the house. Yojadron. Yep. David Smith.
These do look like Oscar trophies.
Mm-hmm. The little hands. Cool. Yes, audio is good to go. Thank you for the confirmation. And test the thing here. It's working. Yay! Good my code stock. Get it down before the show starts. Dock. D-O-C-K. Dock. I think we're good. Hopefully the videos aren't squished. They tend to get squished sometimes. You can hear us and everything?
Yes, there is a discount code for today.
Yeah.
Because you asked so nicely.
We asked Dock. D-O-C-K. 10% off. Everything in the store except gift certificates and software, which we don't sell anymore. Oh, subscriptions. That's the one. Like $8 a box. Pedro's in the chat room. We'll try to post links as we talk about things.
Oh crap, yeah. Every time it's my turn, the link posting goes down in frequency.
I'll give it a try, yeah. I'm used to running the Wirecast here. So this thing's going here? Can you guys see this thing?
Yes, it is time-lapsing.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bit of a hiss in the background. That's probably this printer. Let's get close to it.
I don't hear it as bad.
This is printing wood filament.
Yeah, it's the fan.
It's an Atomot head. What is this, the Hatchbox?
Hello, hello, John.
Yeah, it is Hatchbox, yes. Yeah. We'll see how she turns out. So far, it's okay. Cool. We got a minute.
All right, let's go ahead and get started.
All right, guys. We're going to start the show. Hey, John. Let's get started. Intro. No. Wait. There we go.
Excellent.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangout. My name is Noe Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is Mr. Pedro.
And I I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is where we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics, you smash them together to make interesting projects to hopefully inspire everyone in the community. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is episode 164, and let's get right into the show. Today's coupon code is DOCK. Very simple today, DOCK. Has to do with today's project.
You check out before 11:59 p.m. tonight, you'll get 10% off your order. Works on everything except certificates and subscriptions.
But everything
so
else
make
is fine.
sure to
Like 3D
take advantage of that.
3D printers, 10% off. That's a good deal with free shipping on that.
I want to mention
US
our
Continental.
freebies that we still got going on. A bunch of different tiers. If you start spending at different amounts of money, check out adafruit.com/free to check out what we have available. You definitely want to jump on this quickly as the holidays are approaching. We are going to run out of everything, so don't wait till the last minute. Make sure you got everything on your shopping list before the holidays get here. We also have shipping deadlines, which are plastered as a nice red banner above.
That's how I quickly got to it. I was like, uh-oh, what's the link again? Just click on the top header
The deadline for shipping with USPS, I think, has passed already.
Oh my.
I think we actually got an email about that. So if you want to get these before Christmas, on the 25th, you definitely want to get with UPS for shipping on that. And we'll have all of the deadlines listed at the banner link that is plastered again all over the website.
Yeah. So
check that out. Make sure you have everything you need for this holiday season.
Cool. Same day delivery still happening for fine folks in New York City, certain zip codes. Check out the website for that. We have some newsletter stuff, adafruitdaily.com if you want some daily kind of different categories. You pick what category you want, and you can get some daily newsletters, tips and that sort of thing, shares, stories, those things.
Everything from electronics to 3D printing, wearables, and our newest one is CircuitPython, curated by our very own Tony D and Scott. So definitely subscribe for that. All the cool new happenings in all of those listed categories.
Yep. Newsletters is still continuing. We got a new product specific newsletter. It's called the new newsletter. Goes with the song. Go to adafruit.com/newsletter if you want to subscribe to that. Cool. We're hanging out in the Discord chat room. So check out the Discord link. If you haven't joined the Discord, it's a great way to share your projects and talk to a lot of great people in the community when the shows are gone. So it's a chat that stays forever. We're always in there hanging out. Let's start with this week's project. This is the button here for the project. I'm gonna make sure that link's in there. All right, this week, Pedro, tell us about your project.
This week's project is a very simple dock for your USB micro compatible dev boards like our super cool Circuit Playground Express, as seen in this image here. You can jump over to the overhead. Very nice dual extruded little dock. Supports any board that has the micro USB. You can reorient the USB connection. It is mounted at an angle, so when you have this at your desk, you have a nice display of when you're programming any animations or LEDs like that. So super handy for that type of display. And as some people have pointed out in the chat room, it looks like a nice little Emmy. So you can give this like as a present or a trophy for schools. Very good for customizing. We did a very cool little dual extrusion here. You have plenty of room to add like a name or a class or whatever like labeling that you would need for that. Plugs into the back and has a very nice color theme that you can have based on whatever theme you're going with. The insides of this is super simple. We have a snap fit together case that has a micro breakout board inside there with a little USB connector on the top.
Nice and tidy. Snaps
fits into place. Nice little ingenious way in having the micro USB connector not go get pushed into the case. We have a nice little end stop on the lip here. If I can open this back up. So
it locks.
There we go. It locks pretty good. It's a little stopper right here. So nice little idea if you need to build something like this. Of course, all of the Fusion 360 files are available. They're all made with sketches, so you can change the diameter on this if you wanted to, for some reason, add battery or make this bigger to fit whatever board. Fits a wide variety of boards like the micro bit here. You are going to have an upside down display, unfortunately, but it does work as a nice little dock for that as well. This was inspired by the Apple docks that they've been using for quite a while now. PT actually had this idea. And when I searched around for reference images or any designs that have already been done, like on Thingiverse, I had not seen anybody make these. The most common type of dock for even just USB are like mobile phones or iPad or tablet based ones, but nobody's ever made one for a micro. Please link to me.
Yeah, we did a quick search on Amazon. You're going to see cradles, right?
Yeah,
it's
always
specific
cradles.
to cell phones and things like that.
So it's one of those projects where it's like, oh, this is so obvious, but
Yeah, who needs this? It's so obvious.
I've not seen anybody design one, especially for when you are programming or designing something animation-wise. These are always going to be flopping around on your desk. It's very nice to have a nice angled display so you can quickly and easily mount your boards on there. We go ahead and check out the learning guide for this. Very simple, but some nice basic things that you can learn on there. Go ahead and jump into that.
You want to post a tweet thing?
Oh, yeah.
While I
Okay.
catch up with the chat room?
Yeah.
Sweet. So apparently it is Independence Day in Finland. Happy birthday, Finland. Yanni's in the chat room. Say hello.
Woohoo! We have some very good
Some really cool
Finn
ideas
friends.
for this project is to probably reorient the kind of the breakout board so you can connect it to the side or the front, however you like. That's a good idea. Also good idea is to add other things to it. An OLED feather for labeling. That would be super dope. Add some wheels and a motor. That'd make it a little car. Or the edge connector dock. As you see, these new type of boards are starting to have this interesting cartridge style connector, which is called the edge connector. They're proprietary, so they're very specific to it. And I don't know, you'll probably see more edge dock stuff coming from Adafruit shortly, maybe in the next month or two. Just a little bird maybe told me or not. But yeah, that's a great idea. This edge connector is going to be a thing, if it isn't already. The land of 1,000 lakes.
Oh, for Finland, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's learning guide. Super simple, just showing off the many sizes and formats you can mount to this dock. You have the ability to flip this around. Case in point, the micro bit actually has the micro USB actually the opposite way, so you can pop this out since it's just press fitted into place. You swap the orientation of that to fit your board.
Yeah, that's really good. There's no kind of leeway in there. It's really solid.
Yeah,
and,
the
you
whole
know,
thing is
the
solid.
Raspberry Pi Zero might fit on there, but you're gonna might have to come up with a different design for that. We wanted to put a Raspberry Pi on there, but it kind of gets in the way. The peripheral USB port gets in the way of the power port.
Yeah.
So it might not be the best thing for it. Depends on what you're doing with it. So you know, maybe other devices too, headphones or something like that.
That would be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down, we have a listing of just a couple of the components you're going to need: the breakout board and the DIY micro USB connector. This is definitely just to get your ideas flowing in terms of knowing that you're not constrained to a certain USB size. You can reorient this to any form that would fit the design you're going after. We're using the silicone coated wires. We're using the 30 gauge here just because of the fine pitch solder pads that are on the USB connector, and then a very fancy fabric USB cable. Definitely
so fancy,
matches.
It's out of stock.
I know, for a while
It's a nice
now.
cable.
They're very nice, so I should go grab it and show, but now you can see the image there. Definitely has that snake look.
It says really eye-catching snake-like.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Isn't it?
The reason why I picked it was, besides the look and the fabric, is the rigidity of it. It's sort of flexible and has a nice flow to it. So if you do have it on your desk, it's not gonna overpower the dock and not flip it around, you know. And then
Filament printer.
Filament, the very popular teal color that we had custom made actually from the folks over at Melt Ink. We have that in shop. You can pick up a nice PLA color. And then some of the printers that we used for this was the Ultimaker 3 for doing the dual extrusion, in, not listed here, but the Type A as well with the Palette Plus, which we'll talk actually right now in terms of the 3D printing.
So it's a box, so we figured, hey, why not give it a shot so we use some dual extrusion and maybe some, well, some dual extrusion. Okay.
Some dual extrusion secretly disguised as a comparison of doing fine details between the Ultimaker 3 and the Mosaic palette.
Battle time. Who will win? Ultimaker 3 or the Mosaic Palette Plus?
So the Ultimaker 3 had a little bit of problems trying to print the fine details that are on the very corners of our logo here. So this prints with the bottom on the bed right here. As it's printing upwards, it starts getting the tiny little details of the logo, or it could be text for whatever design that you're using. It might operate the same. It did have some problems in terms of the heat area around the nozzle was melting and bleeding some of the colors together. So I did try this multiple times at different temperatures, at different layer heights, and I was able to get one really good print out of that, which is this one right here, sorry. You still did get a little bit of bleeding near the top here where it first starts. There is a lot of like fine hair retraction that gets melted into the main body of it. And I had to use 100 microns to print out this, to get it to even look decent enough. When I tried again, I was not able to duplicate that. I kept getting melting and deformation in the fine details at the corner of the logo. So I was only able to get one really good print out of that. So
interrupt real quick. Is it focusing?
Is
it in and out?
Yeah,
okay?
it's in and out. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys?
I would go.
See it okay?
I would go closer. Yeah, focus right there. There we go.
I don't have to. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, let's try.
Yeah. So again, 100 microns, 200 microns, and 150 microns, all had exhibited that sort of melting and deformation. Yeah, lock that focus.
Okay, let me do that.
All meanwhile, I was printing all these, I was able to successfully get 3 really good prints out of the palette.
From Mosaic Manufacturing.
Yeah, so we talked about this last week, and because of the way that it's printing, as the nozzle prints and then moves away to make the waste or the purge tower, it gives it ample time to cool. The Ultimaker 3 actually does that exact same movement where it, after it prints with one color, it'll move away, switch nozzles, cool down the other nozzle, and go back over to finish printing. But the way that the, for whatever reason, their nozzle just is a little bit too thick and manages to melt and contaminate the other color. So while I was trying to get all those prints on the Ultimaker, I was able to get 3 really good ones on the Mosaic, and I only had to use 200 microns for this, so the detail still came out really good. The thing that I am super impressed with, let me get some tweezers here, is the little, what are these called inside of our logo?
The seed pods.
Like the little seed pods came out really good, which I was not expecting. So the amount of quality that you're able to get out of that.
How tall is this?
Fantastic.
How tall is this on the Z?
I don't
20
remember.
millimeters?
Yeah, it's in the description for it. But here is the
purge.
I don't remember. I'm working on the next project. Can't keep all those numbers in my head.
Right.
So the purge. Here, you can measure that. Here, measure that off screen. So here's what the purge tower looks like. Not too bad. You know, like I said last week, they are working on optimized processes to reduce the purge by about 75% by using different processes, which means that you can have one color printing every 4 layers, switch to the next color, print 4 more layers, and then switch back. So that will dramatically reduce the time and the purge on that. So while they're working on that, which will be out pretty soon, I was able to get really good quality off of that. At this point, because I needed to film, this right here wastes does not concern me. I need to get a
Well,
beautiful
time. How long
hero
did this
shot.
take in terms of,
So I think it
Ultimaker
took
for you?
the Ultimate. It was pretty close because
Really?
I did have to print at 100 microns on the
Yeah.
Ultimaker. There, when it switches color, it does take a little bit to cool down the other extruder, heat up the other extruder, move over, start printing again. So there is time, extra time that has to be allocated for that. So I believe the Ultimaker took about 3 hours, I want to say.
To print
About
this-
2 hours. Yeah, I know, it's small, but
this tiny little box.
again, 100 microns I had to use to
Mhm.
print this. And then on the Mosaic, I think it took about 2 hours, so not that far off. But in those 2 hours, I was getting, you know, fail after fail from the Ultimaker. So that time, you know,
Is there,
nulled.
do you think this will always happen, or can you tweak the settings
So
with
I,
ample time?
again, I did, yeah, I'm sure I could, but it's just
What
the
do you
nature
change?
of this design because of the
speed?
fine. I did try different speeds, different temperatures, tried lowering it. I tried to get different resolutions.
Maybe print 2 of them on the bed. to
If I
give
printed
it time
2,
to cool down.
again,
kinda
when
like
it
that
when it
tip.
switches color, it moves away from the part.
So there's this.
So there is, yeah, there is time for it to cool. And coincidentally, yesterday, Ultimaker had a really cool announcement. They have released their 0.25 millimeter nozzle. If you switch over to that, we are going to pick up some of these and test out the quality differences of that, because this isn't going to be the last time that we're going to need dual extrusion colors
I
with
hadn't heard
fine
about this
details.
until this morning.
I know, it was
this is
kind
a
of-
great visual. Like, look, I can print this ruler with sub,
Exactly.
you know, sub inches. What is this? Millimeters, inches? Probably inches. You know, INC. Yeah.
I was going to hope for millimeters, but I guess they're catering to the
Maybe, I don't know.
freedom units here. So yeah, it was definitely an announcement that was like sort of like at the trail end. Oh yeah, by the way, we have new extruders. But this is a pretty good big deal in terms of people who need details in their prints. So we'll be picking these up and be comparing these, because this would definitely shave at least an hour off of having to use something like the palette. But as soon as you want to use more colors, you can't really dual extrude these. You got to switch over to the Mosaic palette. So that's something that might be addressed already for the Ultimaker. So we'll check those out and we run these tests. But at the time and recording of the project, the palette won in terms of being able to get really good quality off. Yeah, I mean, if I was doing 4 colors, there'd be no competition. But at the time of the project's recording, the Mosaic palette pulled its weight in terms of being able to successfully print out these refined details with the constraints of the enclosure, because I did not want to, make this any bigger than it is. It's nice, small, compact, plenty of room for the wires and all that. So there's a look at.
That's a good comparison. I really
comparing
wouldn't have
quality.
thought that.
I didn't think so either.
Kind of issues,
I thought I didn't
or even
even.
was it possible? I would be like, no, that's probably not possible.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
It's
it's one of
a-
those things you did at the end of the project. Was like, let me throw some extra bits to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in terms of printing on the bed, you do have this part laying on the bed. I did use heat with a pretty big brim on there, about 4 millimeters, just to make sure that the fillets that are on here don't lift. And if we jump back over to the guide, you can see some of the settings that I used. The guide, learn guide, all detailed there. You can download the Fusion 360 file, and of course all of the separate STL files needed for that. I include a blank dock as well as the logo that we used here, and then just go over some overview of setting these up inside of Cura as well as Simplify 3D.
Right on.
Circuit diagram for this is pretty easy but confusing because of the USB connector having 2 sides for the pins, and because of the fine pitch that they're using for the pads on there. So you just want to take great care in noting if any of the connections are bridging or not, and you want to use a fine tip for the soldering iron if you have a little bit of trouble soldering those on there. It's listed there.
Yeah, it's one connector, guys.
I
We
want
have
to note
2.
that, yes. All of the all of the diagrams that I looked up online for these were a little confusing, because I had to, they're oriented at this weird angle, at this like bird's eye view, and then the when
This looks nice,
routing those
I
back.
can tell what's the front and what's the back, or in this case, the top and the bottom.
Exactly.
So
you can see, and these are all color coded as well, 2 standard USB cables, so these should all match up. We have all of these silicone coated wires, the 30 gauge kind, in the shop, so you can pick up all the colors for that.
They're nice. They won't melt when you
exactly. Yes.
Get the tip of the soldering iron. Okay, so let's keep moving here for the assembly.
Assembly is pretty straightforward. You just want to measure about 70 millimeters of wire for each connection. That'll give you ample room to route around the inside of the enclosure, as well as being able to open the lid because the breakout is mounted to the lid. It'll give you enough room to take this apart and then have room to add anything else inside there, or just general maintenance or anything like that.
You may want a nice pointy tipped soldering iron tip, unlike the hoof here, but hey, you were able to do it with the hoof.
Yeah, the
Any
hoof's
tips
fine.
For hoofing it?
Just make sure that you have a tiny bit of solder on the tip of your soldering iron, so you can transfer the heat for the solder on the wires a little bit more easier.
I would pick up multiple ones in case you burn and melt the plastic.
Yeah, they're cheap enough to get multiple just in case.
Yeah.
Definitely some good practice in fine pitch soldering right here. And I want to take a note at the orientation that I am soldering these wires on. Click on that.
You can click on these photos, guys, to get a 5K image or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you'll notice that they're actually soldered upwards instead of soldered the opposite way. This is because the bottom of the USB connector is what's going to make contact with that end stop that is on the lid.
Yeah.
That's what's pushing up against it, and you don't want the wire. It's just not going to work with the wires pointing the other way. So take note in that.
That's right.
And again, the silicone coated wires, because they have the ability to bend so far without breaking or fraying.
Yeah. Cool.
For the breakout board, and another thing too, this is an instance where you absolutely want to use third helping hands.
Oh, I thought you were going to say tweezers.
And tweezers,
burn
yeah.
my fingertips with hot 30
That's another one too,
wires.
but definitely the third helping hand. We see so many soldering videos, soldering videos, with the boards just laying on the table. They're like soldering, it's like moving around. This is not a case where you want that.
I like it when it flaps around. Okay, let's go back to the guide.
Yeah, I think you're trying to find a picture of it hooked up to the third helping hands, but yeah, this is because of how small these parts are. You're gonna need some elevation, especially for the USB breakout board, because you do want to make sure that their solder is on the front and the back, because when you have the wires, when you solder on the wires, you want to make sure that you actually poke through the holes instead of just having it on top.
It's a thin board, so you don't need that much heat.
Yeah.
It's a 0.8 PCB.
Yeah, just wait till these solder liquefies, push the wire through.
Yeah.
And then
these colors are pretty standard on your side, like white is always the
so you don't have to label anything. Makes it very easy to identify what is what. You want to make quadruple check that nothing is bridged because of how small those pads on the breakout and the connector are. And you can lay these out with your printed part. We're using M2.5 millimeter screws, 5 millimeter long, to mount these onto the lid.
Yep.
And then you can use either a shrink tube, or in our case here we used Kapton tape.
When you forget to add heat shrink.
Exactly.
Kapton.
And that'll keep the wires nice and tidy, because you are going to want to arrange these so that they are out of the way of the end stop here on the lid part.
You want to kink them and like break
You don't
them.
want to kink them either, yeah. And that's pretty much it. When you snap the lid on, you want to make sure that the USB is angled first, and then you can snap the back or the front of the lid on. It'll have a pretty tight tolerance, so you want to make sure that you apply a modest amount of pressure. You'll hear that nice snap on there. We're using the our most loved technique here, the nubs. Yeah. Instead of using, because if you added screws to this, it would definitely increase the size, just because of the standoff size that you would need for these And then, you know, adding more hardware to assemble something is never fun. And that's pretty much it. You can, yeah, I know.
It's never fun. No.
And that's pretty much it. You can customize these. Definitely tag us for any updates, modifications you made. Very helpful.
I love the shot because it shows the different board shapes. You got a square, a circle, and a rectangle.
I mean,
what
like,
I'm missing is like a triangular board.
I'm sure there's a triangle board or a hexagon. Maybe the
hexagon,
Shino bit would
the Shino's
fit.
octagon, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would fit very nice on here as well, I believe. So check it out. Download, tag us if you do any modifications, and this is one of those projects that hopefully inspires and makes people think, oh, I don't have to have this USB port angled a certain way, or I don't have to use this big old fat USB connector to route things together. You can use these, you know, 95-cent connectors to just build your own and make a smaller enclosure or more optimized design. So very cool.
Sweet.
If you want to pick up something in the shop for all of the parts that we used in this project, use Dock during checkout to get 10% off.
Woohoo! You did it, Pedro. Good job, man.
And that's this week's project.
I like it. I'm definitely gonna have one on my table.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see what we're prototyping.
Some quick comments real quick, just so we're on that. Okay. Yanni is saying USB-C.
We all
yes,
want USB-C.
I want USB-C.
Yeah, it'll come.
It's
probably in January.
All of the new devices that we have, the new GoPro Fusion, the Hero 5, the Hero 6, all USB-C. The MacBook, yeah, is nothing but USB-C.
I have a little music device, light pad.
That's USB-C as well.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So everything is definitely moving towards that. As it becomes like just ubiquitous, you know, we'll start getting the ports and the breakouts for that, because yeah, it is nothing beats being able to plug in a USB-C device, getting it right the first time.
Yeah. Sweet. All right.
And the power and all that, the extra connection you get, that's the icing on top.
I'm gonna wait for USB-D. It says imagination. That's a good comment.
Double the bandwidth.
Yeah, let's do, all right. So what are we prototyping? So I got a snap for you guys. So while Paige is working on this and another project, I've been wrapping gifts with my nephew. This is a slice of life here. So I've been working on an update to this, our camera slider, the motorized one. I also got a chance to test out this knife that cuts cardboard, which is really nice. This is a recommendation from Donald Bell of Maker Update. I also worked on a little Trinket M0 NeoPixel cardboard fireplace for the holidays. That was kind of fun. Of course, updating and prototyping the new update to this camera slider. The point of this one was just to add a tripod mount to it, but I ended up adding support to it and making it a lot better in terms of like sliding back and forth, so there's no friction, or there's not that much friction that grinds the timing belt. So that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of work on the CAD end, because a lot of the CAD, it's one of those first projects where you don't really understand sketch constraints, and you're kind of chipping away,
literally
and,
like
deleting faces, and just have this terrible looking timeline with warnings and cached geometry everywhere.
This was literally like the second project I think you worked on.
Yeah.
So new that we actually had to have Tyler Steen from Autodesk help us out and do some webcasts on
yeah, he modeled
workflow.
Actually, Taylor modeled a couple of the components, like the railing and the stepper motor. So it's a really nice project that is a good example of a ton of different external components that kind of come together to make this update. So a lot of fun. This is going to be next week's project.
You've been posting some test shots of this. I got some I can post as well, but I've been waiting for you to post these. But these look phenomenal, the way that we're able to get the movement on these so smooth. And before we'd have to like hook up a 5D up to it with an intervalometer and figure out the time for this, because like all mobile phones now, any modern mobile phone is like so good in terms of the sensor on it with the time-lapse features that are just auto on it.
You're seeing more things like so image stabilization and
the image processing
just
right on board.
Reducing a lot of the steps for post-processing.
Yeah, you just hit go and it looks beautiful. And all in 4K, it's amazing. The future is awesome.
It's pretty nice. So that's going to be next week's project, and we'll talk about it when the next week comes, because I got to start documenting how to build this thing. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. We'll see it next week.
Very cool.
So let's talk about shop talk here. We got some interesting things. What do we have first?
Shop talk. The community tab on YouTube has been released for our channel.
Hey.
We asked some people a poll to ask what type of videos you like most, and so far it's been pretty unanimous. It's like 89% project videos, 3% live streams, and 7% teardowns. So if you guys want to voice your opinions on what type of videos you like seeing Adafruit produce as a whole, definitely vote. It is right on youtube.com/Adafruit. You can see that in the community page. We'll be adding more to this as time goes on.
I'm going to take this with a grain of salt because we're live streaming right now and it says nobody wants a live stream. What? Whatever. You guys like the live stream, right? You're watching the show. But anyway, this is an interesting thing that YouTube is trying to I guess, get creators to be more involved and interactive with their audience.
It's a nice really bird's eye view of what people like, enjoy. So definitely voice your opinion on that.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought of VidMe, but VidMe shut down, so I'm sorry about VidMe. We were going to start uploading and then it's gone. It always happens.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so that was that portion. What's the next thing after that? Sorry, guys.
This week's community makes is something that shut off last week. Just wanted to spend more time on it. This multi-colored Ferrari designed by Cypus, who's been doing a lot of really neat multicolor extrusions on his Thingiverse page. You should definitely check those out. And this is one of those instances where the design and the purge tower are not too far off. So the weight of the model was about 48 grams. The purge tower was 58 grams, so it was only a 10-gram difference. I didn't do any modifications to the prime tower. There was no like fancy, you know, oh, I got to get this all the way down, like in terms of the weight or the size of it. It's just that the model for this worked out very well for this. If you switch over to the overhead, this is not a solid block. It's actually, you can kind of see through it. Oh, not really. Doesn't want to focus on it. You can kind of see it. So it's like about a, I don't know, what do you say, like a 30% infill throughout. Yeah, and it's only a 10-gram difference in that. So, and that's not including the wheels too. So that type of design works very well for doing multicolor prints. The wheels, you know, they kind of move. I just the tolerance is a little thick. I could just take a drill to it to increase the size of the what's it called, the wheel bearing, whatever.
Sorry, axle.
The axle, yeah. Oh, this turns out really good. Gavin had, as soon as he saw it, he was like, "Oh my god!" Started playing with this. So the color being brought into models definitely brings it to life. Adds more playability to it, and doesn't have to you know, take up any time in terms of like coloring this in or getting these fine details, especially because this is, you know, this is flat in there.
And 2 questions. What happened to your nozzle?
Which nozzle?
I'm not sure which nozzle. The one in the time lapse? And then another one is, can water flow through that purge tower? Yeah, I think it's not watertight. That's the question.
No, it is definitely not watertight. It is so hollow.
Ninjaflex for the tires? Yes. Funny story. This was actually printed on the Sigma.
Yeah. So this is
the tires are separately because the profile for Ninjaflex on the
so they are working on some modifications. They do have some 3D printed parts that will constrain and compress the Ninjaflex going through the pallet. So you can get those and I'll download those right now.
Yeah, Alex has a good point. Too bad you can't recycle the purge. That just goes to waste. I actually saw
We are not going to waste
by
this.
Maker Noob on YouTube, and he said, you know what, I'm going to collect these. I'm going to make a chair. I'm going to make a chair for my kid. Put them on, yeah, I'm going to make a chair. That's a good idea. One of my ideas was to machine it.
Yeah.
Because the dense ones, at least 100% info
Yeah, this
here.
is pretty 100%.
I'm going to try to machine this so I can make an SD card holder or a cradle of sorts.
Yeah, so we're going to stick this in the CNC and...
It's such a dense piece of brick.
Wow.
You kind of want, and it looks kind of neat with the colors there. So we
the
might
color
do something
changing,
with
yeah.
it.
So yeah, we're
Challenge
not.
you to think that, like, okay, well, what can I do with this waste?
So we're definitely going to put
idea,
this
yeah, thanks,
to
Alex.
use.
If you have any ideas, let's try something different with it.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject of that, we did try out a 4-color Boomy.
Oh my goodness,
And
this is really nice.
Yeah, what's nice about this is the way that you printed these before, you had to print multiple parts on top of it, increasing the thickness of it and the weight and all that. This is flat, all on one layer. And the cool thing about this is the print weighs way more than the Purge tower, if you can call it a tower.
Finally, we have a print that the print weighs more than the waist.
Yeah.
This is a great example of it.
And
And
this
it's a
is-
fairly large print in terms of, X and Y. You know, it's a millimeter thick, but hey, that's probably the best type of thing to make on this thing where you have minimal waste.
Definitely takes advantage of having all of the colors all on one layer. So this is where it
So there's no
definitely wins out.
stacking going on.
There's no
right?
stacking.
There's no need to print the whole
We've
black
tried
layer
this.
and then the silver layer.
We've tried this on the Ultimaker. Unfortunately, I threw away the part where it was
Failed, right?
a Vernoy, a two-color Vernoy with like the black in the center. It was
Yeah,
a
what
gray.
about that?
I threw it away. Yeah,
Well, what
but
about it?
there was bleeding all over.
Yeah, it just
it
didn't
was
have no
not
skin.
clear.
Don't worry about that. That's no skin. I
Is it?
turned off the
Okay.
no skin. That would fix that. So don't
okay.
worry about that.
Okay, so yeah, you can see that it's pretty clean on this.
Yeah, so good example, I guess, right here. So
Mm-hmm.
4 colors, something flat, something for a project, and something that doesn't waste so much with the
Yeah,
palette. So
like,
it's a great example.
This
of
is
it.
like less than half. I would go grab the scale because I don't remember what it is, but yeah,
Less than
this
half.
is less than half of the entire weight of this. So for flat things or even for vertical things, this works very well. This is a money clip that they actually sent us with some of the example prints. And again, you can see just how clear, there's only like one little spot of contamination on the black here. But this works very well for prints like this where you want the color to be flat. Of course, you could design this where the colors could like snap into place, but you don't have to, print these little fine details.
Bit of an inlay technique.
You can also do inlay, yeah, it is like an inlay, yeah. But you can just get these, again,
Yeah.
super high quality, like when you're looking at the corners of where the print starts right here, yeah, it does a really good job with detail, with no changing any of the...
It does look like the Maker News logo. Yeah. That's the Mosaic's logo.
Yeah, I think everybody uses like the triangle, like
Not everybody.
make anything.
This is the triangle, yeah.
They're like 3
This
triangles.
is the triangle, too.
Oh,
Triangles
wow.
are awesome.
What's up with
I
the
gotta
triangle?
say.
We need
I
a
like
triangle
triangles.
view.
We need a triangle board. Cool. All right. Well, let's do a quick shout out to the designer, of course, of the Ferrari.
Definitely
for
check out,
Multi-Color.
follow his account on Thingiverse. If
Yeah.
you check out his designs, he's made a lot and has recently released a couple.
Shout out the group. This is a group.
The Multi-Filament printing group is what I've been spying on to print out
Look
the
at these
next
awesome
designs.
ideas for multicolored things.
I like the
Which one?
ready
Oh,
for some stabbing.
yeah. I forget his name. Stabbot? Something. Futurama.
I think it's Stabbot. Roberto.
Roberto, that's the name. Cool. So a lot of great ideas here.
Mhm.
Check out the group here. The Mosaic is in there, of course.
Yeah,
with all
they.
their different
Of course, that's all
designs.
they're going to upload. The multi-material designs.
Right.
They have I think they have a full-time designer on there who uploads really good designs. I think they uploaded one just yesterday. It was a cool
It does
purse.
take a little bit of work to kind of split up the parts. Like,
Yep.
I had to. Boomy was a little bit easier because I set it up.
You're
so
designing
it's-
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are easier.
Cool. Another cool project, kind of example is this thing here.
This is really cool.
Lenticular.
This is
dishwasher.
bleeding into the community makes, which is just fine. But this
It already was. We were already
this
here.
is okay. This is a very nice sign for your dishwasher that is using lenticular design, which is how like some of those holograms and 3D prints where you like move them and it like animates them. So if you turn this around, it's dirty.
Yeah. Green is dirty and clean is orange? That's not right.
I know, so there's a magnet in the back so you can flip this around,
Okay.
but the way that this is working is these little peaks and valleys that are hiding the other side of the print there so you can't see what the other color is. But this is a very excellent use of something like the palette because this is 3 colors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as you have to use more than 2, the dual extrusions sort of lose, you know, the fight in something like this. So this is a very good use case of that. I mean, of course you could go in there and, you know, marker this in like the designer did, but
yes.
This looks super clean. Like the retraction on this, there's like no bleeding from any of the colors on this.
Cool. So that's on Thingiverse. We'll have it linked below.
This will be a post on 3D Thursday as well.
Cool.
And yeah, this is one of my favorite prints just because of, you know, how the illusion part of it makes it really cool.
Yeah.
And let me look through my notes here. I think we had one more.
We got Community Makes still.
Community Makes, yeah.
Yep,
This
we're
really
good.
cool arcade stick.
Yep. Let's go back to the
We always
site.
love these because of their abilities
fun.
to work with Macs or PS3s and of course RetroPie. Very cool little setup here. I like the buttons on the side. Give you like the start and stop or start and select.
Mm-hmm. We have
And then the
advent
next one,
calendar.
a
This
very
thing's really
cool one. An update to a classic for those that have been in the 3D printing game for a while. Would remember the advent calendar. It was quite popular when it came out. It brought a lot of designers together in terms of making each day's design. This one is no different. It uses a newly designed tree in Fusion 360.
Mm-hmm.
He has an entire video on this you could check out. Very well, nicely done.
Yeah, check out Tom on YouTube. We'll have it linked below as well.
And on Instagram as well, he has
I
very
love his Instagram
good
account.
posts.
Really great posts.
And if you scroll down, he has a list of all of the days and the designers that will be working on these. And I really love the use of the dual extrusion prints that are being utilized in this. So very awesome.
Very cool. Okay, now we're going to take a stroll through Discord.
You guys want to share any designs, jump into Discord. It is
the
at
link is up there.
discord.gg/Adafruit. Jump into the show and tell channel and post up your awesome project that you're working on. This week we have some really cool goodies arriving for delivery from Cascade. So checking out some very tiny chips.
Mm-hmm. Very nice project from Liz of Blitz City DIY.
Mm-hmm.
Check her out on YouTube. She has
Very
a nice
cool
write-up on
soundboard.
Hackster.io as well as using a Circuit Playground Express. Or is it a Circuit Playground? Oh. One of the Circuit Playgrounds to make a light-up musical snow globe. Very, very cool.
It's really cool. Check out the video that has very nice music that goes around.
Code.
And make code, yeah.
That's great stuff.
Definitely check this out. Inspired by John Park. And he approves.
Great. Cascade took some more photos. This is really nice. This looks like Andrew took
This
it.
looks-
Andrew, our photographer. At
yeah.
Adafruit. Look at that. Lovely. He also gave a link to the PVC backdrop,
Which
that we
I
used,
picked up.
which we actually picked up.
Yep,
Yeah.
should be shipping.
So great looking
getting here
project
sometime.
here. Great looking photos as well. Dishipu or Radomir is sharing some of his silkscreen artwork.
so cool.
Looks beautiful. I love the kind of dual artwork. It really showcases. You can just do anything with artwork on your silkscreen if you're designing
So
a
good.
PCB. Let's see. We have some more stuff here. We have this nice kind of web app here. So it's a library occupancy estimator built with the ESP8266.
Wow.
So it's like you can tell how many people are in the library.
That's
if
cool.
It's full or not.
Wow.
Really cool. We have a bit of a light up remix. I think this is what this is. Teaching a clock how to clock. This is kind of neat. It's a cool project. We have a nice project from Charles Crawford, who is kind of inspired by the Hocus Pocus book. Yeah, and Phil B, of course. So he put the display behind this book here, so kind of.
We've been wanting to do this one for years.
Years.
We'll get to it one of these days.
Yeah, very cool. got some gear motors here for an RC tank bot that Andon is working on. Very cool.
Yes, he was showing some progress in getting the gear ratio right. So a lot of work has gone into this. Excellent job.
Azure Skies took apart his latest project and he figured he'd take a photo of it and share it with us. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Nice wiring management. Love the 3D printed diffuser parts. And here is Scott Macaulay. Figured he'd be like, hey, I actually got a guide on how I made mine. So kind of sharing a similar type of project. And Gadgetoid is sharing an update, I guess, to the pinout.xyz resource. It's a nice kind of resource to kind of get an idea of what are all the GPIOs for different devices, Raspberry Pi devices. And this is the JoyBonnet. So if you're wondering where all the pinouts go and stuff, this tells you. It's real nice. Let's see here. What else? Oh, Azure Sky is showing a picture of it in action. He is blowing air. He's not going to shoot him. He's shooting with air, with kindness.
I love how the eyes are glowing with the wearing the badge on it. This looks very cool. Love this. And then the inside of it.
This is Scott's. Yeah.
This looks
more
amazing.
like I think sound effects, probably from the speaker and the power boost.
This is so
very cool.
So awesome.
So yeah, if you have any cool projects you'd like to share or get some project help from, we have all those on the side.
All the moderators are in there.
Yep. We also have a Monday weekly.
We want to shout this out.
Meeting. So if y'all want to join that, it's on Mondays at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Yeah, there's probably a blog post about it.
The way that you get there, though, is a little confusing. I didn't have an idea how this was working. So if you go over to the left bar and scroll all the way down to where you see voice, there is a CircuitPython chat inside there. Yeah. You click on it, it'll start connecting, and then your microphone, if you can go down there, is down there. So you'll just click that to unmute.
Hello.
And then click that to demute again. And then the way you disconnect is, you just hit the hang up button there.
Yeah.
Phone hang up button. And
my friend called.
There's always you can take a look at behind the scenes of the in progress work that's happening on this very awesome new platform. You can see all of the contributors talking about what they have been working on. We have Radomir, we have Katni in there, Scott, of course, Tony D, and Dan, who are like the main core contributors for this. Definitely tune in, check that out. Show off any of the work that you're working on, or just listen in so you can sort of absorb all of the terminology and the work that's going into this awesome new platform. It's like seeing the birth of awesome.
Birth of a nation?
Birth of awesome.
This is a link that Kirby just shared in the chat room. It's a nice kind of assortment of geometric, low polygon.
That looks pretty cool.
Things. Really cool. So check that out. I'll have that link too. Last minute kind of thing that made it. All right. That's pretty much the show. We had one last thing. Do you guys want to say it?
Oh, yeah.
A minute.
So we love cameras here. We use them to shoot every project, and we love testing out the new innovations in them, like the 360 cameras. I think we've had Adafruit as a whole has had like a nice fix on the 360 cameras and what use cases we can actually use these for. So the GoPro Fusion was finally released I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Ours finally came in, I think, last week. And we've been doing some general tests with like the dynamic range, the slow-mo, the image quality of it, and holy crap, we are so impressed with the imagery that we were able to get out of this without any tweaking to any of the settings, like having to take our mobile phone out and like do all of the usual process that's makes it a little bit difficult to use with all of the current 360 cameras on the market. So here are some shots that Noe took going through the tunnel out there. What do you think about this, Noe?
Yeah, so to me, I'm thinking about this fact. This isn't 360. It can do 360, but I myself don't like 360 videos that much. They're more like better at like at a museum, and I'm like in this immersed
The only time that I like it is when you're like in...
to move around and miss things.
Exactly,
especially when
yeah.
there's a narrative going on in the background.
Even with the gyro going on,
So
I know you can get like the
what do I
lenses,
do?
but...
Right, so what do I do with this effect? This is over capture, you can keyframe things, you have the little planet thing. So there's still some things to figure out, like how do I use this other than just being a cool looking shot? So there's some effort to put into, well, what do I do with this thing? So, which is always the thing with a new effect or a new type of format.
Workflow. So one of the first...
It's a format, right? It's definitely a format thing.
So one of the first things we did was with the Theta, so that was like pretty low resolution.
Yeah, we did a studio tour.
We did a studio tour.
Now we need to redo it.
Because looking back out of it, wow,
it looks
the quality.
awful in terms of quality.
So
you
bad.
get really good quality. You get 8K, is that correct?
No, it's 5.2K.
Okay, so it's 5.2K. But when you wrap that around in 360, it looks okay. It doesn't
looks,
look this good because this is
compressing all
4K,
the pixels down. Yeah.
Pretty nice, and you know, it's been interesting to see the jump in 4K file sizes.
It's
huge.
huge.
Looking at the future of, we're gonna have to start editing 4K. A lot of other creators already do 4K, and they've been doing it for a year now. And I'm a little envious because it's like, I wish
know,
my
it's
stuff was
so
4K.
much. I mean, there's so much setup that we have to.
We're so used to just quickly banging out 1080 footage and just color correcting and manipulate. Everything slows down.
We're gonna have to be dragged, kicking and streaming, just because like all the equipment that we have set up.
I've been doing
like
1080 for my entire career.
Years,
like
yeah.
when I about got into video productions, right when 720 became old, and then 1080 was the new standard def. This 1080 now is like low def. It's like low def. So I don't know, pretty interesting. We'll see where this goes. If it's a fad, and Little Planet's like, you know, just another one of those fad things. We don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Is it disorienting? Maybe. It's trippy.
Yeah, as people are saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting seasick."
Sorry. Yeah. See,
oh, the
that's another
tunnel
reason why-
scene.
Okay,
yeah.
stop it. Yeah.
The tunnel scene
Sorry about
definitely
that.
looks like it's a music video or something.
Yeah, that's weird. It's like, what do you do with that?
I know.
It's great for, I guess.
In terms of 3D printed designs, the first thing that came to mind was really cool way that they're doing the mounting on this.
Right.
So some cool hinge design going. I can't really show because I am doing a time lapse right now, but there are definitely cool little rigs 3D printing will definitely take advantage of there. So just a cool little thing that we've been playing with that we wanted to show if anybody's in the market for those.
Yeah,
definitely not on the cheap side, but
yeah, it's just a cool looking thing. I know. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like the allure of it seeing it first is starting to wear off, especially prevalent here. Like sharing it with you guys, is like, yeah, that's a little.
Yeah,
it's kind of low.
It's more of the
flavor now.
Yeah, it's more of the for the video market, not for the DIY project market.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
Figure we try it out. Cool. Well, if you guys remember, Dock is the coupon code if you want to pick up something from the shop. There's still some time left before it gets crazier.
Yeah.
And things can come out of stock.
Yeah, UPS has started coming in like at 6 in the morning now, delivering packages because of all the influx of high traffic.
Yeah, Adafruit team is doing a really good job of shipping things out as quickly as they can. Shout out to them, of course.
Later tonight, we're going to be on.
Coupon code so you can support them and the whole team.
Yeah.
So back to later tonight, as Pedro saying. What are we doing later tonight?
Later tonight is going to be the show and tell. Everybody in the community will show off the project they're working on.
If you would like to share your project on the show and tell, please come and join us. You can win a free sticker. You can get your face seen to Lamar and Phil so they know who you are. So check it out. Exceptional
projects actually get free Prodex to finish or redo projects.
Prodex, I like that.
Yeah.
Process, Prodex.
This is where a lot of people actually get their jobs at Adafruit. So definitely check it out, swing by, show off your project, and you may be asked to do a write-up. Yeah, we do have budget for that, so always keep that in mind. We will pay for supplies and time and all that good stuff.
We'll fund your next project.
We'll fund your next project. So definitely show up for that. Right after that, we will have Ask an Engineer,
New
8
products.
p.m.
I'm looking for that.
New products, all the news going on in DIY. Phil and Lamar, full hour. Definitely check that out.
Yep. John Park is on tomorrow.
Yes, he is working on some cool projects. I think if you check out his Instagram account, he just posted a cool figurine, Adabot, that is going to go in, I think, a snow globe. So we'll see his nice, cool twist on that project. Definitely tune in for that.
3 p.m. Eastern Time. Sweet. Awesome. That's it for the show, right?
I believe so. I just want to go through a quick
recap
rundown of questions that we had posted. Let's see, Blick is asking if we're getting the Prusa i3 to do the 4-color testing. I don't believe so, since a large majority of our job is to make projects, not really review stuff.
What is it? Oh, sorry, I missed the question. A review, right?
Yeah, i3, yeah. The reviews, it's not so...
We'll review it if it becomes a part of a project like the Mosaic palette.
Yeah, that was this one.
See it, we use it literally to make this project.
Yeah.
And see how it integrates.
Has to integrate
to our
pretty nicely,
kind of
yeah.
workflow. Yeah.
Are there some things to recycle filament?
Yeah, that was another idea, was to like make an insulation wall or something with the towers.
No, he's saying recycle filament. So we did do a video on testing out the Philibot.
Yeah, Philibot's got
4
a new
years
version
ago.
now.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a lot better
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
There's more techniques and things, but yeah, that is definitely
But
a thing to check out.
you're definitely right. It's not as good the second time around. You actually have to use...
You have to use like 30% recycled and 70%
Of the new, yeah.
pellets,
Mhm.
something like that. I don't know, it
And
might have changed. I'm not following it.
It's if your job is to do projects that will become a project in on itself, just getting a properly extruded spool of recycled filament, which is not, it's not as fun as it sounds. It is.
It's all work.
It is a lot of work in terms of grinding all that stuff up. There's like all this dust in there. I remember like my throat hurt for like a month from that. You have to like use respiration. It's not fun, dude.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you later tonight and, of course, next week. Just a quick programming note. This is, we do this show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Bit of a morning show. That's why we got the coffee. You got your coffee still? Mine's cold.
I'm ready for lunch.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining every week. Join us on Show and Tell later tonight.
Good luck with all your maker projects, folks. You can find us in the Discord chat room, of course. We'll be there hanging out. And happy making and stay safe.
See you guys.